It's Jazz, Min, Nicole, and welcome to Wait with Jazz. This video is a little different. I am sharing my story, becoming a little transparent as I become more personable with this channel and more personable with you guys. And just to briefly give you an idea of where I've been and what has led me up to where I am now, physically. 13 years ago, I was fat, married, and uncomfortable. Now, today, I'm slim, divorced, and comfortable. Let's get into that. My weight put me in a very uncomfortable state. I was reaching 300 pounds, around a 284 mark. In previous videos and in the introductions, I have shared with you all, my history of journey, me losing 115 pounds. I was 284, got to 115, and then chose to lose the rest with GLP-1 medication. That segment of losing the 115 pounds was influenced and triggered by a devastating divorce. I'm not going to say I would not have pursued it if that didn't occur, but the likeliness maybe I would not have, because I was under the impression, although I was uncomfortable in my skin, that my husband at the time was okay with the way I looked because he loves bigger women, thick women, um, always favored them. So I felt comfortable in that aspect, but indirectly and subliminally, I was uncomfortable with my skin and was always trying to work on my weight, cutting calories some way, trying to figure out a fat diet, how to get down. And there was even times where he was supportive with me, introduced me to running, and just was supportive in that aspect. So I felt like the marriage was okay, give or take me having low self-confidence and insecurities within myself that I was trying to change. Now, me thinking he likes bigger women, and I had no other indications thinking otherwise, throughout the course of our marriage, that was wrong, because he cheated on me with a woman who was much smaller than I was. Much smaller than I was. That just was completely devastating to me. And it wasn't something that we could work out. It was something that was the ending decision of the relationship. And not necessarily on my end, but on his end. Reconciliation really was not in his mind. And in a few moments you'll see why. So pretty much, just in brief, the separation was not inamicable. Had it been amicable, I would not have been such emotionally involved as I was. Like I just really, this really hit me so hard. I couldn't handle, almost felt like I couldn't handle it, but I had to. I had a kid, and I had was put in a position where I had to completely restructure my life. I was unemployed, and at that time living with my grandmother because I ended the lease, and we went our separate ways. So I had went to my grandmother's house. My kid and I stayed in the middle room, cramped, after being in my own place. Always had my own place for years. Since I've been 18, I've always had my own place. And I'm cramped in my grandmother's room. Feel like everything's stripped from me. And I'm married, going through a divorce, unemployed, and broke and fat. I felt low, the lowest I could ever feel in my life. And I was really an emotional wreck. I could still get up and look for jobs because I was really adamant about that. I was going to fix the situation. It was going to take time, but I know how to adamantly apply for jobs, this, that, and the third. And I was still trying to get something grounded within my career too at the same time. So I was still putting the work in, but every day emotions going up and down, up and down, up and down, sporadically. There was times like I would just be crying on the floor. My kid would come and sit in between my legs while I'm sitting Indian style. And I'm just like, I can't believe this is happening. But anyway, got out of that situation eventually, landed a job in line with my degree, a career for which I've been for many years. Um, but landed that job at the time, fresh in his divorce, still heavy in tears, pretty much. But feel better because now I got a position and I'm in the posture of rebuilding my life, plans to, get my place and all that. So, got a position, professional position, bam, I'm okay with that. However, throughout the beginning phase of my position, sometimes I would get overwhelmed with the thoughts of the divorce. The divorce wasn't finalized, it was still fresh, and it got so bad to the point where I had to go into my boss's office and say, look, I have to leave early today, with tears building in my eyes and my voice quivering because I'm going through a divorce. And I said that specifically. I have to leave today because I'm going through a divorce. He looked at me empathetically and he affirmably said, go. Like he knows and he understands. Because what people don't realize or may not realize is that divorce can feel like death. And it felt like death at that time for me because I take marriage seriously. No matter what we going through, I do not expect my partner, even in departure, to depart in such a way that he did. Okay. That just was a lot for me to stomach. And for years, I would have sporadic emotions due to reflection about what happened, the marriage, with everything that failed, what went wrong, because the marriage to me, pretty much, we were cool. We were yin and yang. We were together for so many years, then decided to get married. Then all of a sudden, some behaviors start changing, and then all of a sudden, this person comes out of nowhere. So dealing with all that and being overweight, uncomfortable in my skin, having to reconstruct everything, I really was just at a stage where I'm like, I have to get everything together, my mental health and my physical together, so that I can be okay. So I can be okay. So I decided to really embrace losing weight. And I did that. I hit the pavement, ran regularly, intermittent fasted, doing 1 meal a day. And I ate meat at that time. I still did 1 meal a day, didn't count carbs. I just ate 1 meal a day and ran. And when I didn't run, I went to the gym, whatnot, but I was exercising 5 days a week. Got the 115 pounds off. And then the rest with GLP-1 down the line, as I felt like I couldn't continue to maintain a weight and I felt like I was gaining weight. But this divorce definitely had a lot to do with me wanting to make the complete change in my body, for my body, because although I was uncomfortable in my body, I probably would have remained complacent because I felt that my husband liked bigger women, and there was really no need for me to change. But there still was a need for me to change for me. Because ultimately, you can't guarantee that a man is going to stay around. Obviously, because he left abruptly and in a distasteful way that traumatized me for a long time. I eventually got over it or subsided. The reflections and emotions that would randomly come about subsided over time through my involvement in other relationships that took my mind off of devastation until those relationships started to deliver devastation. I'm telling you, this is why I favor being by myself. Okay. At this point in my life, I favor being by myself just to really get to know myself. But I made it to where I am now. And maybe I needed to go through what I was going through to be in a complete fed up state with the way that I look to make a major change and not continue to be unhealthy because conditions were starting to, surface, I'm sure I was pre-diabetic, on the verge. Um, I was getting swelling, lymphedema is what I say, lymphedema symptoms that does, run in my family, in my legs. So it was just, I needed to make a major change. And had I not made it and remained comfortable and complacent in a marriage and just continued to blow up, where would I be? Probably still divorced. And then, once divorced, had I remained in a sunken space, you know what I mean? And just didn't revamp things, reconstructed enough to make it, but didn't change my my health, I could have skyrocketed and gained more weight and really hit 300 plus and never, ever, ever, ever got getting to the goal weight that I am at now, which is amazing. Never, ever getting to 130, which now 128 now. Never, ever getting here. Had that tragedy not occur to my marriage, I more than likely would not be the woman that I am today. So I have to look at it like that. Although it hurt, but that ending of that relationship evolved me into such more of a person inside and out. I'm much more wiser. I am non-tolerant, honey. Anything doesn't just go over here. Okay? I have the confidence. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, what life has showed me is that the only entities that are gonna love me the right way is God and myself right now. Okay? I mean, until otherwise, which I doubt and I'm not looking for, but I love myself the best. Okay? To do what's best for me. And I finally, finally am grounded in that type of mentality because for so long I was not. So life tragedy ended up creating a better opportunity for me. I'll see you in the next video. Be real.